So, welcome to another episode, if you will, of 1 Million Cups. For those, kind of just a show of hands, who's here for the first time? Okay. Awesome. Thank you all for coming out today. For those who don't know, this is for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. So all of us here are organizers. We're business leaders here in the city, and this is an event that we put on for you guys. You'll have two presenters today. Each presenter comes with a 6-minute presentation and 20 minutes Q&A from the audience. So it's really a nurturing place. We like to call it Guppy Tank, not Shark Tank. So we really want to nurture our presenters that are up here. We want to provide feedback. We want to provide just great questions to make them think and kind of get some new things going after they leave here with this presentation. And hopefully, we want all of you all to learn something from our presenters as well, or something that you should be doing maybe for your startups or for your own personal lives. So we do appreciate everyone coming out today. And I don't know if our sponsors, Joycaster, Rollins ENT, and Barney's Coffee. So if you have any Barney's Coffee this morning, please make sure to take pictures, tweet Barney's Coffee, tweet Rollins, and of course Rudy with Joycaster over on our far side. So we want to thank Rudy as well for streaming live with us every week. He's a very modest guy. And then obviously your organizers, you have Ron, you have myself, you have Dave, and Shay isn't with us, and we have Nancy live behind the scenes in Kansas, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in Kansas City. So please tweet us, hug your organizers. We love hugs. We love words of encouragement as well, so please do that for us. And I think we'll start you guys off with your first presenter today, Better Stuff LLC.
Yes.
Ready? Round of applause, everybody. Woo-hoo.
Good morning. My name is Amy Griffith, and I am an American inventor. A little bit of my backstory. I'm originally from Delaware. Hold your applause. A lot of people ask me what state that's in. I worked for a NASA subcontractor for 18 years as an industrial photographer. They make the shuttle spacesuit, so that was an amazing opportunity. I moved to Central Florida in 1995, where I took a job in advertising for 14 years. I then became unemployed in 2010. So I called myself a product developer. It was better than saying I was unemployed. So I decided I wanted to invent something. I told my husband I didn't want to go back to work. I wanted to invent something. And he said, great. And he says, well, just kick some ideas around and check out some jobs, take your time, and just, see what pops up. Well, one day while I was laying by the pool, I had my drink and my cell phone and everything underneath the chaise lounge, and I went to adjust my chaise lounge, and I knocked the drink over for like the 1,000th time in my life, and I said, that's it, that's what I'm going to do. I searched online like I have before, and I've never found anything, so I found this little tiny umbrella online, and I went and bought some washers and some magnets, and I made a prototype, and it worked. It was amazing and adorable. Right here it is. So I started my field study and did some product testing and did it all, during all different hours of the day, and did a lot of pool time. And I became very excited about it. I started doing research, and I wanted to avoid inventors' traps, the 1-800-INVENT-HELP, where they take your money and you never hear from them again. So I did some research, and somebody blogged about your local Inventors Council. So I found the Inventors Council of Central Florida. They meet the first Saturday, I think, of every month down off Bumby. Great group of guys. I learned a ton of stuff from them. I applied for a provisional patent online. And I met with SCORE, a group of businessmen. They're kind of like the Guppy Tank. They give free business advice. Got excellent information from them. A lot of support from them as well. And I attained a business license. So we're off and running, and I'm actually doing this, not just thinking about it. And when I see something in the store, I was like, why didn't I think of that? So I'm thinking, well, I'm on that little train. Well, you can't do it without a staff. This is Ava. She's my sounding board. By my mom's invention, so she can replace everything I've chewed, which frankly is a lot. And she's very good at that. And this is Grady. I took him on as a summer intern, and he's a great paper pusher as long as it's balled up and on the kitchen floor. Now he's big and fat, and he has a windowed office where he pretty much spends most of his days. And last but not least, my wonderful husband, Jack, he's a numbers guy and a spreadsheet junkie, and he has allowed this whole endeavor to be pursued. And he comes with a salary and benefits, which is also very important. Plan A, I wanted to license my idea and collect royalties. You know, sit back. Well, that proved to be more challenging than I thought. I contacted a lot of manufacturers that are looking for products to produce, keep their lines going and stuff like that. Talked to a lot of American manufacturers, and nobody wanted to pick up a product. Nobody was really interested, a lot of them in the industry. I stuck, you know, industry specific. So plan B, I found a manufacturer and I did it myself. I hired a patent attorney, and I produced 1,000, which was all I could afford with my available cash, which was, the score had said, don't take a loan against your house, don't cash in a 401k, because that is a hole you could possibly not dig out of if this doesn't take off. So it was a more expensive unit price, but this was going to be my sacrificial 1,000 to get out, you know, as a marketing tool. So I had a website built, and I'm marketing through events, social media, and cold calls. I also donate for raffles, swag bags. I donate for golf holes and auctions. And I'm coming up in November. I'm in a swag bag for the Chrissy Everett Celebrity Tennis Tournament down in Boca, which I'm very, very excited about that. That should be some excellent exposure. Things I've been schooled on. Well, it's many things, but two big things was I was denied entry to craft shows because it's not handmade. I can't get into farmers markets because it's not edible. And I can't get into art shows because it's not art. I did not see that one coming. And I can't logo it after it's manufactured, which is why I made it white. I like white because it's crisp and clean, and I thought white would not fight with any logo colors, but come to find out it's 100% nylon, and you have to apply catalyst so it will take the ink for the logo, and it's too small to do that. So that I learned. And here are my target markets, you know, pretty simple: hotels and cruise ships, pool and beach stores, patio stores, boutiques, catalogs, magazines, and celebrities and TV shows. And I've been in contact with almost every list on there, except for cruise ships. I don't have any contact for cruise ships. My challenges are getting in front of the right people, which is huge. Hearing no a lot and just keep going. Hearing no. And not getting too excited after big promises. I keep everything even keel. And just being the squeaky wheel day after day. Going and going and going and going. So those are my biggest challenges. And that is the end of my presentation.
If anybody has questions, please raise your hand.
Can you talk, you mentioned the licensing discussions that you had. Can you talk about like what kind of companies you approached, and you said you didn't have much results with that, but
I did not.
But what were the discussions like?
Well, actually there were, the discussions were, no, click. A lot. I went on to, I think it was thomasnet.com or thomasnet.org, and you can find all your specific manufacturers, and you make a list, and then you call them to see if they, take outside ideas, if they take, manufacturing, other manufacturing products, they want to keep their lines going. And it'll even say, companies looking to pick up new products. So, again, getting past that receptionist, she's like a guard dog. They're all like a guard dog. And, you're just like, sales please, you have a name? I've even gone into LinkedIn and gone and found a name of a company, of a sales rep in the company, and it'd be like, Sarah S. And I said, oh, Sarah, do you have a last name? Well, it starts with an S, but I can't read my writing. Oh, is it Schmidt? I said, yeah, it's Schmidt. Okay, hold on. And I've, tried all these goofy ways to get to the right person. And then if I do get to the right person, whether they call you back or, the follow-up, and then, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. I don't know how you would invent anything. I don't know how they invented anything, 100 years ago, 50 years ago. There's just so much out there to learn from on the internet, and you can just, this source, and then click on this, and and it's just, there's just a lot of information out there.
Would you repeat the issue about the logo?
With the logoing of the product?
Yes.
Well, apparently it's 100% nylon, and you have to apply a catalyst first for the nylon to absorb the ink.
So you would like to get the logo attached somewhere to the umbrella, right?
Yes, I would.
Could you not just have a ribbon that goes to the top and attaches to the knob on the top? A bright ribbon, such as blue or red?
With the company logo on it?
Yes.
Well, I certainly can, and that's a good idea. And I've also thought about what fits on the bottom are wine charms, and you can get them customized, and that they would pop on for, like, I was looking originally for like weddings, anything like that. I contacted event planners, and just these are cute little table gifts. These are cute little things to put on a table, and then try to customize them.
And have you been in touch with any of the country clubs in the area to provide them some free ones for their pools, just so people can see them for the first time?
I have not. I have actually not thought of country clubs. Thank you very much.
Okay.
To make a note of that. Country clubs.
More questions? Anyone?
Why would I want to buy one? You didn't really address that issue of what the product does and what its purpose is. It's somewhat self-explanatory, but I'd like to get your take on it.
Correct. Well, it's when you lay out by the pool or at the beach, you have a little side table next to you, the little 24 by 24 side table, and you put your drink and your sandwich and everything like that, and it just bakes in the sun. Your phone bakes in the sun. And then usually you start stashing everything underneath your chaise lounge so it's not in the direct sun. With this product, it attaches to wood, metal, plastic, glass, doesn't matter. You put that on your side table, and there's your phone, your drink, your sandwich, and everything is in the shade while you're still in the sun.
Forgive me, please. Have you thought about applying images to it prior to production? In other words, licensing general images like some abstract art and putting some different variants on there. And the second question is, and I'm sorry I missed this, I came in a couple minutes late because I'm a slacker. I didn't get the price points on this, the wholesale and retail, and how you figured those things out. Are you going with market area standard, or are you doing it based on your costs, or what? I sell them locally for $20. I sell them online for $24.99 with free shipping. Wholesale price is usually twice your manufacturing price, so it would depend on how many were ordered. These I only made 1,000, so these were a little more expensive, but they're my marketing tool to give away, and I've probably given away 3 times what I have sold. I've sold 136. I've sold about half of that online, and when I tell them that their Shade Pop is coming, I ask them how they heard about Shade Pop, and not one person has mentioned any of my social media. They all say, I Googled tabletop umbrella, I Googled phone shade, I Googled drink shade. I've Googled this forever, and I can't believe something actually popped up. Which, it was just kind of interesting that, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, a little bit of Twitter, but I've been, a couple bloggers have picked me up, which has been amazing. I had 3,000 people get on the contest to get a free Shade Pop. I was giving 3 away. And 3,000 people, and my husband and I were like, oh my gosh, when this contest is over, we were flipping. We thought, oh, not one order. I got not one order from that, so it was just like, wah, wah. But, it's just part of the tumble and roll.
The getting back to the question, have you thought about just
the custom.
in your design, instead of just offering white, go ahead and put the primary colors out there and make those order options immediately.
Right, and that is going to be an option. I've only had inventory for a year, so we kind of want to see how these take off. But what I'd like to do, my mailman came up with this. Everybody's got an idea. It's just so wonderful. We were talking about NC2A. Of course, you have to do licensing and all that. And I've got somebody kind of tucked away that might be able to help me with that. But instead of doing the logo, just do the colors. Do college colors. Gold, black, orange, blue, and whatnot, and sell those. So, and I said, you know what? That's really pretty good idea. But again, it's just like, what school do you pick? What colors do you do? And stuff like that. So I want to try to get through this first 1,000 and then. There's only 2 colors, orange and blue. Well, you know what? That's what they, chomp chomp, that's what they say, that the Gator fans spend more than FSU and UCF together, but what the FSU people say is because they make more stuff in orange and blue than they make in our colors. I don't know, I don't want to get in the middle of that. They have more what?
Since you brought up social media,
Yes.
You don't have your Twitter up there. We didn't have your Twitter, so what is your Twitter handle so we can tweet?
Shade Pop.
Shade Pop?
Yep,
At
Shade Pop.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm kind of a twittiot. I don't know what to tweet about. I can Instagram.
Hashtag Twittiot. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, hey, happy sunny day at Shade Pop at New Smyrna Beach. A hashtag. I just don't know. And I tried to post pictures, and I need some schooling. I'll get my teenage neighbor. Maybe he can show me how to tweet.
They are the best resource for that.
I know.
I'm wondering, is there anything patentable, or have you sought a patent for that?
Yeah, a design patent. The base is magnet to magnet, and when I can put my microphone down, I'll show you. It's magnet to magnet. It's a very, very strong magnet. So that is my attaching process is the design patent.
But you said also it attaches to glass.
Yes, glass, metal, wood, plastic. There's a magnet in the bottom of the umbrella, and then there's a magnet disc that goes underneath the table. Brilliant. So every time somebody picks one up at a festival, the magnet drops in there. So, but yeah, it's a very strong magnet.
So you talked about the collegiate market.
Yes.
A little bit. If you just stick to colors, does that violate any of the trademarks or?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so. Obviously, I would look into that because that's what I did in the advertising was licensing rights when I worked for an advertising agency. So I'm very, very careful with that. I know that and I also thought about sorority, the Greek letters for sororities, and they're also patented. The order that they're in they're all patented, which I wasn't really surprised, but sometimes it's just like, wow. So I can get licensing on those, which would give me more of a reach than college, and then I could do pink. I could get in with the Susan Komen and do the pink thing with but it's just like I'm one person and I've got all these ideas, and then my dog has to go outside and, it's just like.
And the cat is shredding the paper.
Yeah,
Let me ask you.
I start to misfire.
Let me ask you one other thing. You talked about your contest where you had a really good adoption rate.
Yes.
So, did you capture any email addresses?
I did not.
Okay, so food for thought for the next time. The second thing is, if you do another, which you should, is obviously because you got a lot of traction with that, is then follow up with those that did not win and say, oh, I'm so sorry you didn't win, but here's a 10% coupon for you to buy one.
That's a great idea, but would they give me the contact emails? They always say if you do this, we will not share your email with anyone. I don't know if we get into like a sticky wicket
but
there.
You know who they are, so you have a way either through Facebook or through another methodology to reach back out to them and say, I'm so sorry you didn't win, but you know what? Please go ahead and here's a coupon. Feel free. Get 2 friends to buy one, get one free, whatever it is. And so you have different ways to continue the adoption rate and get people excited.
Tink,
Exactly.
Tink, tink, tink.
Exactly.
Right. Good idea. Thank you.
I've got 2 questions for you.
Uh-oh. Can I have one at a time, please?
Okay. The first one is, have you considered contacting beverage distributors or bottling companies? Because those umbrellas would look perfect with the Corona logo.
I know,
on top of them.
but I have I have thought about putting a nice Corona, and even to the point where I would remove my Shade Pop logo. I've got no problem with that. If I did get into a pitch for ABC as a store giveaway for a new store opening in Florida. I have like hundreds and hundreds of lines out there. It's just amazing, the people that I talk to. I got in with the Kings of Swag out in LA. They found me on the Grommet. And that's how I got into the celebrity tennis tournament. But yeah, I'd be very happy to. Do you work for?
Unfortunately, no. It's just an idea I had.
No, it's a great one. It's a great one, and I have thought about it. But it's research to find the. And I sold one to a lady in Pennsylvania, and she says, my best friend works. She's a buyer for Brookstone. I'm gonna show her this. I'm gonna contact her, and she's gonna contact you. And again, I'm trying to keep it very even keel. Like, oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. 5 minutes later, I get an email from her friend at Brookstone. And the problem with getting in with them is they want 10 products. How many products do you have? Well, I have 1. Oh, that's a lot of work for 1 product. Instead of me being a wholesaler or distributor having 10 products, then they will take those 10 products, and because it's a lot of paperwork, and I understand, I get all that. But I don't know how to only be, unless I group up with a lot of people in the area that have the same type of product, and we can become a group of 10 to go after catalogs or.
Okay, so real quickly, my second question is the umbrella and the table that it's on, the colors match. Is the product just the umbrella part?
Yes, the product is just the umbrella with a magnet.
Okay, thank you.
Can I piggyback on that? I'll wait for her. Okay.
I have one question. Have you looked into getting embroidered logos on the umbrellas?
I have not.
Because that kind of classes it up, and it should be something.
I'm wondering if they can, if there's a embroidery machine that will be able to get under this and embroider.
I would think so. If they can get into a ball cap, they probably should be able to get into that. The other question is
there Carpe? I think there's a Carpe Diem in Altamont Springs. I don't know if that's still open yet. I will give them a call.
There's several local companies.
That's true. And I could take some of my product that isn't, it's got some smudges on it or some material flaws, and just take them and say, here, just try these. That you can't ruin them because they're, I wouldn't sell them anyway.
And the other question is, on your website, can you go ahead and Photoshop or something and have the umbrellas, the shade pops, in the different colors, the orange and blue, go Gators, and have your wholesale pricing ready, your wholesale bulk pricing ready to be able to sell that to someone so they know it's available?
Instead of saying call for bulk orders, I have a call, give a quote for, any kind of wholesale orders.
I think if you put the picture in front of somebody and say orange and blue are available for wholesale.
As soon as they are available. And what color should I go with, everybody? Everybody should think I should go with orange and blue. Is that a safe bet?
Gold.
I'm going to do college colors?
Gold and black, pink and white. Fun colors, things that girls like.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely you can.
Well, I think one of the points too is you can display them and not actually place an order with whoever your manufacturer is until you actually get an order. So
right. Yeah, I would like to get some with the logos on them and just send them to the colleges, and so they can. A lot of people have trouble visioning, so if they could see it and say, "Wow, this looks awesome. This will be great for tailgating, etc."
Just a quick question on the topic of colors. It looks like the unit is modular. So would it be possible for you to make it where somebody could customize, just like people customize Oakleys? Could they go and pick a different shade, a different rod, and then a different base, and that way you might be able to get around color combination, licensing issues by the person individually saying, I want a garnet base and I want a gold top. That way you're not explicitly copying.
Do you mean for me to assemble them by myself with all different color bases and make them custom like that?
Right, it would be a lot of work and you could charge a premium for it, but it's just an idea.
Yeah.
Mix and
Yeah,
match it.
I'm all about trying to customize this. That's probably one of my biggest challenges.
Great idea. I love it.
Thank you very much.
It's really good.
I have about a dozen back here in case anybody's so overwhelmed that they want to purchase one for $20.
And I have another idea for you. Have you
great.
thought about partnering up with promotional product companies?
Yes.
Because they could do the sales for you. Because they always look for new ideas to present to their customers, and they always look for something the other promotional companies don't have.
And they don't have this.
And then you have someone that actually does a little bit of the footwork for you. And then once they get an order, you might have a problem with the price point, but once
Right,
they get
and
an
they'll
order,
take a bigger piece of the pie, but I just, and this is just to get my idea out there.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
maybe that's a good partnering idea, so you have them selling it for you.
Thank you.
And I have a friend.
Oh, I've heard that one before.
Well,
I'd love that. Thank you.
she'll be here afterwards, so you guys can discuss. But we do have one ask from our community for you. As what can we do to truly help you and to go further with your mission and your cause?
Anybody that would have a contact in the industry of trying to get into a hotel or a cruise ship, or any kind of somebody in sales for catalogs. Actually, I just quoted a thing for Frontgate. I'm hoping they're doing a partnership with Margaritaville, so I'm hoping something's going to happen there. But just any kind of contacts that might know someone, that even might know someone, to kind of grease the skids that I'm not just some kooky inventor, trying to bend their ear. I'm a friend of a friend, or I'm so-and-so's mother. Yeah, something like that. Any kind of a connection like that. That would be wonderful.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job. You're right.
Here you go. You notice I did not drop the magnet. So what's really cool about the community is to see how we all rally around our entrepreneurs and their ideas. And just a quick shout out, because in the room today is the creator and founder and co-founder of a company called Here Comes Trobo. Jeremy, please stand up. Stand up, Jeremy. And he blames me for launching into his entrepreneurial journey, and that's okay. I'll take the blame. But what's really cool is that they launched a Kickstarter campaign that closed on Monday, and they got funded. So that's really cool. So now he's really stuck. So congratulations, Jeremy, and Here Comes Trobo. Continuing on the theme of what Alex talked about, again, we are really happy you guys are here. Please come closer. No one's going to bite. The more we kind of hang out together, the better it is. Our ask of you is to continue the word on the social media channels. Please give a shout out to Barney's. Give a shout out to all to Rollins ENT. And of course to Joy Castor, but don't forget your organizers, and tag some companies that you think could benefit from being here and sharing their stories. Say, hey, come on over. This is something you should be a part of. Bring your friends and tell them that this is something they should be a part of, because overall, that's what is going to benefit all of us in the long run, because we cannot survive without you. And so together, this continues to be a really cool and uplifting environment for everyone. Without any further ado, I want to bring our next presenter, who is going to be talking about some really cool stuff that I'm really excited to hear about. And if we can give them a big round of applause. David, are you ready?
Thanks very much. So my name's David Rogers, and I'm here today to talk to you about a company that we've started called MobileCARE. And a little bit about my background. I got my PhD at UCF. I just finished last year. It's about been there since about 2005. It took a little bit longer than I thought, but anyway, eventually it got through with the program. But the program was really exciting because it gave me the opportunity to work on a lot of interesting things. And one of the areas where I did most of my research was in mobile software for training and collaboration. And so one of the research programs that I got a chance to do was go with the NSF to Haiti during the earthquake response and study interagency coordination. Now, for those of you who are familiar with what happened in the Haitian earthquake, in the span after it, there was this huge international response that was mobilized. And there was something on the order of about 10,000 different NGOs that went into the field to try to help with that response. And one of the things that we found is that while any one individual person might be good at doing their job, complex problems require the coordination of lots of different people and lots of different organizations. And this is an area where we continually struggle, especially as we start to adopt more digital tools, because one of the things that's interesting about digital tools is they might help me to be more efficient, but it makes it, if I'm using one set of tools and you're using another set of tools, now we have all these artificial barriers in between us that make collaboration more difficult. And as you start to think about it, this is a story that you've heard lots of different places about how interagency coordination and collaboration is a real roadblock and a barrier to some of the types of things that we might want to accomplish. So let me give you a more specific example of the type of problem that we're trying to solve through MobileCARE. So hospitals, of course, are starting to use electronic health record systems to be able to document all of their patient care. And again, these things are very important because now we can start to have continuity of care and these other good sorts of things. But if you were to go down the street to any one of the big hospitals that are in Orlando, even within those individual hospitals, they might be using as many as 7 different electronic health record systems. And the group that's doing one type of care can't talk to the group that's doing another type of care, and the outpatient can't talk to the inpatient. And that doesn't even come into contact with now the interagency coordination problem. So sometimes the hospital has to work with external agencies, and I'll give you an example of that towards the end of one of the projects that we're doing. So one of the biggest costs that hospitals have right now is patient readmissions. So in the new ACA, what's happening is that they're trying to tamp down on people being readmitted to the hospital immediately after they've just been provided care. Because the idea is that if they have to go right back into the hospital, the care they got the first time around might not have been so good. But here's another example where the patient, once they leave the hospital, they might be treated by a doctor in a different network. They might have family members who are acting as sort of health advocates. And so these kinds of coordination problems are the next generation of problems that we have to solve if we want our healthcare system to be more efficient. So let me go through our platform and sort of talk about some of the concepts of what we're doing. So one of the things that our platform does is it starts with the mobile first. A lot of the existing EHR systems were born, of course, on the desktop world, and it's hard to move from desktop into mobile. So what we do is we start in the mobile world and we provide a light collaboration layer that can sort of sit across the top of all these other systems. And there's basically 3 important concepts to our collaboration service. An event feed, a dynamic org chart, this actually is really cool because what it can do is it can take a patient record or a case and it can lay out all of the people who are involved in that in an org chart so you can just immediately contact anybody that you need. And then a task manager, something like an Asana or a Basecamp, but that doesn't live in one app, it lives across all of your services. So these are some screens that show what some of these services look like when they're built in apps and deployed in hospitals. This is the team service. So as I was talking about, that org chart shows you all of the people who have been responsible for a patient's care and what their role is. The tasking service. This is a way that you can do push notifications into any app that the hospital might be using. And so we also make these available to third-party apps. Census service. This is an example of how you might pull information from a system into your mobile app and be able to see that right there on the device. And then, other services that we do are things like analytics and scheduling and integrating with other types of fitness devices. So this is, for those who are into the technology, this is kind of how it works. You have sort of your core health record systems, and then MobileCARE is a back-end services layer that sits on top of that and then can push data to all the different apps that people might be using. So that way, if one organization's using one service and another's using another service, they can still coordinate through the services that MobileCARE provides. Some of the use cases that we're trying to work on, these are, some of these get into the weeds a little bit, but these are some of the types of problems that we're trying to solve that have to do with interagency coordination. And there's some people here this morning actually that we're working with on another exciting thing. I don't know how much I can say about that right now, but you start to think about some of the healthcare problems that involve other agencies, things like the Department for Family and Children, things like being able to report abuse and those types of things. These are systems where you have very stovepiped organizations that need to be able to collaborate to be able to provide that continuity of care so that people don't slip through the cracks. And so these are the types of problems that we're trying to solve with MobileCARE. So that's my presentation. I'd love to hear some questions and feedback.
Get your paws in the air. Come on.
Sorry, so a couple questions. So you mentioned, for example, like an individual health system might use 7 different EHR systems. What kind of support do you need to provide for each of those? And then the other thing is, can you talk a little bit more about how the ACO integration works?
Sure. So different base EHRs will provide different integration layers. Like, for example, one of the biggest in the world is Cerner, and they have something called Millennium Objects. And this is ways that you can be able to pull different pieces of data from that. So when we have a use case that we need to solve, like the first one, notification of an unsigned order, there might be something in the Cerner record which would give us a notification that then we could pull into MobileCARE, and then we have one of our API services is a push notifications API. And so then that API can connect up to what other apps someone's using, whether it's iPhone or Android, to be able to provide that push notification. So that's kind of an example of that, and it varies based on, I mean, there's things that are very simple to do across most systems, and some of the more sophisticated workflows you have to burrow a little bit more deeply. So the ACO model is a great example of this patient readmission workflow. So for example, this now requires collaboration from organizations that might in the past have had no relationship with one another. So you might, if you get admitted to the hospital, that hospital might be in a totally different network from your primary care physician. But to prevent readmission, your primary care physician needs to know that you've been hospitalized right away so that they can start providing care to you as soon as you get out of the hospital, so you don't wind up back in the hospital. And so that's like one of the main things that an ACO might benefit from something like this.
Okay, I'm curious, in this day and age where the hackers essentially have all of our personal information, how do you, because I guarantee you this is going to be one of the questions from the masses is, wow, I'm going to put all my health information out on this app and then it's gone, or is it gone?
Well, so that's one of the interesting things is that right now, in our services layer, we're not actually storing the health information. We're just providing collaboration services upon the health information that's already there. Now, I definitely have some thoughts about how this should work in the future, because right now, if I go back a slide, what's happening is that here in this health information exchange, the hospitals already have all of your data, and but they own it, and they're using it for their own purposes. What I think needs to happen in the future, and what groups like CMS are trying to work on with this HIE idea, is that you would have this disinterested third-party source of data that's actually looking out for your interest rather than belonging to an insurance company or a hospital or something like that. But the world that we live in today, hospital has your information, and we provide these services on top of that.
I usually wait till everyone else is done. I would have taken 20 minutes on the last presentation. On this one, I think there's a fellow you need to meet named Matt Radin. I helped him take a product to market. He had basically a system. He's a mediation attorney out of Long Island. We share a birthday. And Matt has a system that really does some of this, but not all of what you're trying to do. And what does it do? Well, his mediation specialty is in healthcare. So his system basically tracks every aspect of every interaction that a client has gone through, so that at the end of his system, the system will actually give you a grade on whether or not you stand a chance in court when you're a little upset about something that took place in one of those interactions. And Matt might be an interesting blend for you because, number one, he was doing all large doctor practices and hospitals.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that would be an interesting contact to talk to.
Anyone else? Oh.
So what has been so far your traction in the various communities? Because as you mentioned, it's fragmented. As you mentioned, it's complex and fraught with HIPAA and other issues because you're targeting first responders. That was your genesis. But from the genesis to today, what have you seen and what can you share with us?
Sure. So enterprise sales to hospital systems is just extremely difficult for a small business to get engaged in. And so where we've had the best success is when we've had people who have come alongside us as advisors or champions who have made introductions for us at a high level to hospital systems. So some of the hospital systems we're working with are based in Miami, places like UM in Jackson, where some of this original research was done. There's an HIE in Chicago that we're working with. But so those personal relationships are what help us to get in front of the CIO and make a presentation and get in. The other thing that has been helpful, we've started working with local companies that also have healthcare products. So one of the things we found is that our MobileCARE BAS can provide these integration services to other people's good ideas, and that helps us get in the door other places. So there's an app called Ease that we've been working with in that way. And then finding those unique types of value propositions where we provide a capability that nobody's focused on because the health sector is so focused on certain things, like the integration in between law enforcement and other types of agencies with the hospital.
So you are revenue positive.
What's that?
So you are revenue positive. You have sales.
Yes, that's right. So we've actually never taken investment. We've bootstrapped to where we are right now, and we have sort of a core set of customers, and so we are revenue positive, but growing beyond our initial customer sites is hard.
Is the product National Incident Management compliant?
No, we haven't had that certification yet.
Okay, and can you use this as a backbone for telemedicine and telediagnostics?
Yeah, so telemedicine is one of the services that we've integrated at certain sites. So we did something using the WebRTC OpenTalk for one of our customers.
Okay, and you said you don't carry patient records across the data field, but in telemedicine, how do you secure the patient file?
So, so you're talking to issues related to the security of the data. So,
Yes.
So we have all of the HIPAA certifications for our organization. We sign the BAAs with the organizations, and so we maintain HIPAA secure communications. We work with hospitals based on what their HIPAA policy is for the type of information that they're carrying. So it varies from site to site, from information to information. So some information, it's something that we do on a case-by-case basis, but we have all the HIPAA certifications to handle patient data.
Okay, and if you did become NIMS compliant, and you were you were compliant with the incident management architecture, you could also then work with FEMA at the state level, and then work with FEMA at instituting your program, because one of the problems is we have probably 1,500 ambulatory surgery centers in the country, in the state of Florida, all of which are supposed to be state licensed and part of the healthcare infrastructure. But when there's a disaster, there is no system for allocating those beds or those operating procedure rooms in an incident. And your program could actually be an overlay that would give Command Center the resource allocations of those licensed ambulatory surgery centers to become part of the healthcare infrastructure like they were originally designed. So definitely one of the short-term goals that I would have if I were you is to get NIMS compliant so that you can put that offer in and then become part of the state deliverable.
You writing that down, Colin? All right, thanks. Okay, great.
And is there a website or anything that we can log on and kind of visit and look at it?
Yeah, so mobilecare.io is our website.
Question for you. Have you had any conversations with Judy Simpson down out at UCF?
I haven't, no.
She is a physician at the College of Medicine that would be probably real beneficial to you. She is the one that is coordinating both the local and the international Medical Samaritan programs. And they've actually been it would be an interesting thing as you're talking about Haiti and stuff, where they go to the Dominican right now and they've created an EMR program in-house at UCF. It'd be interesting to see how you could then get your programs in there and see if you can help them further. Because I know that it's pretty,
we'd love to talk to them. Yeah.
it's good the way it is. It could be better.
Okay.
So.
Another question for you. Have you, since he mentioned that, have you tried to maybe get this in college classrooms for nurses and things like that so they can use as like a test while they do their assignments or their products? I don't know how it can align with maybe their assignments or work, but at least you can kind of circulate the product and the brand throughout the college campuses, since they're going to be walking in the profession that would need the device eventually.
I definitely think there would be a lot of applications there for the college campuses. We haven't been able to penetrate much into that market right now.
Okay, and, well, in the spirit of 1 million cups, what is it that the 1 million cups community can give you to help support you and move you forward?
Well, so the thing that we're looking for right now in this stage is to build a board of advisors that can help us with some of the feedback that I've gotten today, because this space that we're in is so relational and it has a lot of nuance to it, and so people with specialized knowledge and relationships that can help us is definitely what we're looking for.
Excellent. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you. Hey, Ron, you want to help me? Close it down. Can we juggle? No, go ahead.
All right, so again, we are at the end of another wonderful 1 Million Cups event. Remember our asks. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, do that. If you haven't signed up for our mailing list, please do that so that way you know every week who is presenting. And follow us on Twitter. Talk to us about it. If you have some questions, reach out. If you need some help, we have resources to help you with your presentations. Kauffman Foundation has some really good tools that we're privy to and we're happy to share, so that way you guys can go ahead and benefit from that experience. And remember, we need your help to get companies to come here and tell their story, because without them, this wouldn't exist. Thank you guys. See you next week.